Naruto used the hydrogen style to achieve nuclear peace in the ninja world. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 276. Please calm down. Madara is not crazy, he is quite sober. Just now, Iki was absent-minded and Madara did not move, but he was actually thinking about something. Now, he has figured it out. Tobirama is Hashirama's younger brother, his biological brother. The Sandaime is Tobirama's disciple, his biological disciple. Orochimaru is the Sandaime's disciple, and Jiraiya is also the Sandaime's disciple. After that, Minato is Jiraiya's disciple, and Iki is not Minato anymore. In short, this group of guys is a bunch of bastards. A gang crime. One of Hashirama and Tobirama must have discovered his little trick that day. You have to know that Tobirama has been hostile to him from the beginning. How could he not check the body? Question mark? This guy also developed the Earth reincarnation technique. How could he not try to use this super strong man as Konoha's thug? How is it possible? Question mark? There is only one explanation. This guy knows that he is not dead. He may not know what he is planning, but he is indeed making preparations for it. Madara can think of it now. Before Hashirama died, he called his brother to his side. Be careful of Madara. This guy is very bad. There is a big problem. Before Tobirama died, before choosing the third Hokage, he called Sarutobi Hiruzen to his side. The teacher has a secret. It's time to let you know. The Sandaime also found his favorite disciple before abdicating, Orochimaru. I'm sorry, before you become Hokage, there is something I need to tell you. Then, Orochimaru began to act. With the strong support of Konoha, it is normal to get those forbidden techniques. This guy is cautious, and uses the guise of Konoha's traitor to gain trust. This is exactly what Madara is familiar with. Just like before, the Senju and Uchiha united, but Konoha has always only recognized the status of the Senju, and he is not even qualified to be the second Hokage. Now, everything is so clear. I should have discovered it earlier. Madara sneered. You have the power of the Uchiha and the Senju combined, but you are so similar to Hashirama and your Porte Jutsu. Iki. First of all, I didn't offend anyone. You seem to be an abandoned child by the Uchiha, but in fact, that is just to make you better recognize your identity as a member of the Senju clan. Madara was still analyzing and accusing. After all, you are just a chess piece. Iki. A chess piece specially used to deal with me. Madara sneered. Yes, instead of reincarnating me, it is better to get my secret and take this power for yourself. This is indeed Tobirama's style. Arrogant, thinking that he can control everything. But this self-righteous guy forgot one thing. But Uchiha Madara. Madara became crazier and crazier, and Iki also entered a fighting state. What is his current situation? He can't open his main Gekio, nor can he open his Sage Seal, but his chakra is still full, and he has a lot of detonating talismans. Don't forget, this is his home. Yingshu quickly scanned the surroundings. There was a scroll hidden under the trash can in his private room. A corner of it was exposed. That was his Yingshu number 1, and he couldn't move it. Then there were the scrolls of all sizes that could be found by searching in the surrounding ruins. There were 10,000 to 100,000 detonating talismans and ninja tools inside, not to mention that most of them were looted from Madara's number 1 base. Right now, his chakra is abundant, and if Madara doesn't seem to be in such a full state, this wave is promising. However, things have developed to this point, and Yingshu doesn't want to take action. He has made many wrong predictions about Orochimaru in the future. But there is one thing he is sure of, there must be a major change in the ninja world in the future. Otherwise, Orochimaru would not be so painstaking to send him above now. It's the same sentence. The enemy has always existed. So Yingshu instinctively wanted to pull the country gentleman. What's the point of fighting and killing? Isn't it good to grow bigger and stronger together? The most important thing. Even if he has to fight, even if he is sure to win, Yingshu doesn't want to fight alone. Madara is not in his prime right now. He lost his eyes, and it seems that Orochimaru also took away a lot of his strength when he left. He is also restricted a lot. So, it would be better to wait for the reinforcement to arrive. The three giants of the root fighting against the Shura of the ninja world is the most stable choice. Damn it. You are cold. Iki was about to open his mouth to delay time, but Obito could get here in 3 minutes at the latest. His shout seemed to trigger some switch. Hashirama. Madara closed his eyes, but the fury on his face was still there. Madara did not continue to regard Iki as Hashirama. This shout was purely out of resentment towards Hashirama. Quiet. Oh shit. Would release. Iki clapped his hands, preparing to use a super powerful would release to calm Madara down. But the space here is too small. No matter how much he refuses to make hand seals, this distance is more maneuverable for Madara. Whoosh. With a flash of his body, Madara kneed Iki in the stomach. He was so shocked that Iki couldn't even open 3 Magatama, and he didn't react for a while. No way. My physical skills without Sharingan are so bad. Question mark? Iki flew backwards, and the whole person was shocked. What surprised him even more was, I don't know if Madara is weak or he has become stronger. This knee doesn't seem to hurt that much. Then don't blame me for being rude. Warm reminder, this site uses cookie technology to save your reading records and bookshelf, so clearing browser cookie data, reinstalling the browser and other operations will cause your reading progress to disappear. It is recommended to occasionally take a screenshot and save the bookshelf in case you can't find the novel you are reading. Yingshu's eyes flashed, and it was a confident flash. Yin seal, open. Thousand hands chakra mode, open. Lightning chakra mode, open. I can't open the Sharingan, but you don't even have eyes. I can't use ninjutsu chakra, but you don't even have ninjutsu chakra. You have wood release, and I have wood release. You have Susanoo, but I have a lot of blood limit. This wave, the advantage is mine. Zila. 5 fingers merged, lightning flashed. The power of the 1,000 hands, hell's penetration, appears in the world. Yingshu adjusted his body in midair, and when he was about to touch the barrier, he suddenly exerted force. Whoosh! Lightning rushed towards Madara. Madara frowned. He could indeed feel his power draining away, but for him, he had experienced this situation a long time ago. In his era, who didn't have to fight for 3 days and 3 nights. The enemy will not always attack you at your peak. But the problem is, it's getting faster. Madara has seen Yingshu's speed. But that was when he broke out in the Sage mode. At that time, he was confused and didn't take it seriously. He could see clearly, but didn't want to hide. At that time, he was trying to give the child some confidence and make the battle as interesting as possible. But now, Susanoo. It appeared, opening Susanoo with no eyes. And it was the 3rd stage right away, without armor but with a full body, blue Susanoo with both hands. Madara called out Susanoo. It was actually for defense. Smash it, for me. Iki now feels that he can do anything. The power of his body seems to be endless, without fairy chakra, but he seems to be more powerful. So what is the reason for this bonus? In the process of opening the Rinnegan, can the physical quality be further improved? Iki doesn't know. He only knows how similar this scene is to the first time he met Senpai. He is as fierce as a tiger, and Madara is as weak as that. The result is destined to be the same. Madara can't escape this time. Chakra surged. Iki exerted force on his arms suddenly, and he heard a crackling sound. This was the collapse of Susanoo. Madara's Susanoo is very knowledgeable. This person has seriously practiced this skill of Susanoo to the maximum level. Iki will never forget Madara's ghostly figure like a dancer in the bombing zone. He will never forget the strength of Susanoo when Madara fought the nine-tailed beast alone in the space-time. Susanoo, before the complete form, the chakra is not so stable. Although it is known as the strongest defense, the strength varies from person to person. Not to mention the likes of Hashira. Danzo can pierce it with a kunai. It's amazing. Danzo, can you please stop mentioning me? However, Madara's Susanoo combines both hardness and speed, and is so versatile, that Iki is really jealous. But now Iki is. He is faster and harder. Bang 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 bang. Iki uses both hands, and fires 1,000 hands, hell's hands, and machine guns. He is really fast now, and his chakra is smoother than ever before. Iki feels, if he can practice with K and Day for a while, he will be able to do everything with physical skills alone. The speed has increased, the strength has also increased. There is no fairy chakra, but all aspects have not decreased much. Madara in Susanoo analyzed. Then he symbolically made a seal with both hands. Fire style. Great fire extinguishment. Madara often uses this technique, and it appears so often that one can even feel that he knows this technique. But it must be said that the power is sufficient, the range is extremely wide, and the temperature is extremely high. The wave of fire has arrived in front of Iki in an instant. Iki now has two choices. Get out of the way. Madara has a lot of chakra, but it is not infinite after all. On the contrary, it is probably almost gone now. Even if he doesn't wait for Obito to come, with the tons of chakra in his body, he can wear Madara to death. In other words, he doesn't even need to use it, he can break through Susanoo's defense immediately. The second choice is to take it head on. He has the Yin seal, and he also has creation rejuvenation. He is a medical ninja. Last time, at Madara's base number 1, Iki chose to take it head on. But this time, he seemed to have a third choice. While constantly venting his power, Iki seemed to sense something. The pupil power that was constantly brewing in his eyes began to absorb his chakra. When this pupil power brewed to a certain degree, Iki felt as if there was a pop in his head, like an egg falling to the ground, like a steel fist. Some information suddenly appeared in Iki's mind. This made Iki happy, and he did not forget to brag at the same time. Your chakra belongs to me. Warm reminder, this site uses cookie technology to save your reading records and bookshelf, so clearing browser cookie data, reinstalling the browser and other operations will make your reading progress disappear. It is recommended to occasionally take a screenshot and save the bookshelf to prevent you from losing the novel you are reading. Chapter 277 Yingshu, I have a dream. Madara was defeated. His Susanoo was shattered by Iki. His ninjutsu was absorbed by the waves in Iki's eyes. Iki opened his eyes. Rinnegan. Madara transplanted Hashirama cells, and it took him decades to finally gain the power. Iki, who had already received the chakra gifted by Hashirama 2 years ago, was just forced to give power by Orochimaru. His eyes opened. They were lavender, a bit like Nagato, who had transplanted Madara's Rinnegan, but could not fully unleash the power of the Rinnegan. But the power in Iki's eyes is still gestating. In time, these will surely be a pair of eyes that are no less beautiful than Madara's. If it were you, you could have used more of the power of these eyes. Madara was lying on the ground, blood oozing from the corners of his mouth. His eyes were closed, and his face was expressionless. It was as if he had seen through everything, without any resentment. How could he not have resentment? At this moment, Madara could not be said to be completely disheartened, but this feeling of defeat was the same as before. Don't get me wrong, your eyes are still with Orochimaru. Iki finished his training and felt good. My eyes are my own. To be honest, Iki was not excited at the moment. He had the Rinnegan. He had also defeated Madara. But he always felt that he had won unfairly. Strictly speaking, the Rinnegan was given to him by Orochimaru. This guy who is hard to figure out and exudes an irresistible aura. First it was Hashirama, then Madara. Iki knew that Orochimaru had contributed 90% to his ability to open his eyes quickly. He now felt like he was being forced to eat chicken. He couldn't tell whether it was good or bad, but it was worth it anyway. So how did this guy do it? Iki could feel that these eyes were not yet mature. It was true that they could absorb chakra, but it seemed that they could only absorb chakra. Moreover, the power was average. Iki felt that if Madara had been more powerful just now, he might not have been able to absorb it completely. This confirmed his theoretical conjecture. Chakra is a special kind of energy, belonging to, but different from, and higher than most physical energy. The Rinnegan, as a wisp that can be activated by this kind of creature, has an upper limit on the power of absorbing chakra. Of course, without the power of the way, it still won't work. Yingshu roughly felt the eyes and guessed roughly. The Rinnegan is not so easy to open. Madara took decades, and if Sasuke didn't have the plug-in given by the Way Sage, he might not be able to open it in this lifetime. He did open his eyes. But it was probably because Orochimaru used Madara's eyes, where the pupil power was strong, to stimulate it. As for the incubation and upgrade, it still takes time. Yingshu couldn't help but look at Madara. The more I look at him, the more pitiful he is. Don't lie, Iki. Madara spoke slowly. His breath was a little weak, which reminded Iki of Madara, who was about to die when the dust of the original time and space settled. Although I don't have eyes, it doesn't mean I can't see. I can feel everything about you. The pupil power that is the same as mine. To clear. Warm reminder, if you can't find it by searching the title, you can try searching the author. Maybe he just changed his name. It's just, you don't seem to be able to fully exert the power of these eyes. Iki raised his eyebrows. Madara rarely called him by his name, and he was even more rampant during the turbid period, and when he was just resurrected, calling him child and little devil. But what Madara said was not wrong. His eyes were full of Madara's efforts. If you really think so, there is nothing I can do. Yingshu stopped explaining and sat next to Madara. Let's not talk about this. What are your plans next? I will never let you do evil in Konoha, but if you... Heh. Madara sneered. Are you persuading me to surrender, kid? Here it comes again. But Yingshu didn't care. After all, Madara is a representative of Uchiha. Arrogant and asking for a beating. But it's already like this. It doesn't matter. I'm not persuading you to surrender, Madara. Yingshu said patiently. In fact, even if you are willing to surrender, Konoha probably won't accept you. You are too strong and difficult to deal with. Madara remained silent after listening. He didn't understand what Yingshu meant, but he didn't want to ask. I can't stare at you every day. I still have to study ninjutsu, and the peace of the ninja world still needs my efforts. Besides, I'm old enough to talk about a partner. Iki ignored Madara and muttered to himself. Tsunagakure has been surrendered by my father, and the surrender attitude is very good. At that time, I had the urge to treat Tsunagakure as a branch village of Konoha, but I was afraid that the Kazakage would not agree. Then they recently formed a 3-village alliance with 3 ninja villages, claiming to have 100,000 ninjas and 7-tailed beasts. Why are you scared? Madara suddenly interrupted Iki, and his voice became more angry. Afraid? Yingshu raised his eyebrows. What are you talking about? Are you afraid? Yingshu felt his shoulder was a little itchy, so he scratched it and continued. That's the coalition of 3 villages and 7-tailed beasts. It will probably take a lot of effort to clean them up. Madara suddenly realized it. This guy doesn't seem to think the same as he does. I have a dream. Yingshu said it suddenly, which was a bit abrupt, but it did arouse Madara's curiosity. It's not impossible for ninjas to understand each other, stop the war, and discuss everything. Madara's eyes moved. People are all selfish. When they see others living better than them, they will feel unbalanced and want to rob. Especially in the ninja business. It's easy to kill someone, and it's even easier to rob. I'm afraid it's impossible to expect these people to understand each other. It took Konoha a long time to build a village, and they wanted to understand each other, but after so much time, what they inherited is still hatred? The will of fire. It sounds good, but in reality, isn't it just protecting your own people and beating others? Madara's eyes moved again. He lost his eyes, but his ability is still there. Madara now really wants to see this guy. How much he hopes that it was Hashirama who said these words. That guy, even at the end, couldn't understand this simple and easy to understand truth. He still stubbornly and naively fantasized about the future. But Madara knew. Iki, not Hashirama. So, I have a plan. Iki said, but his eyes wandered a little, secretly glancing at Madara. Madara still had no expression on his face. But Iki felt that this wave had a chance. Warm reminder, there are functions such as switch between simplified and traditional Chinese, adjust font size, reading background color in the upper right corner of the page. Chapter 278 Refusal to cooperate. Madara is now in a very awkward situation. His eyes were stolen by Orochimaru, and the power of his eyes is mainly in Iki's hands. Even if he gets them back, they are temporarily empty. Most of his chakra has also been taken away. Don't be fooled by the fierce fighting of Madara just now. In fact, he only looks fierce. Even Obito can last longer than Madara. We have to admit that, as long as he recovers sufficiently, even without the Rinnegan, Madara's strength is beyond the reach of ordinary ninjas in their lifetime. Just like some people, they are born with a golden key in their mouths, and the diapers they wear may be high-end goods that ordinary people will never see in their lifetime. Madara is in this situation. Iki has beaten him before. Kill. Iki couldn't bear to do it, so he had to talk. See if he could convince Madara to come to his side. Not to mention, Iki had a deep memory of those cool speeches made by Madara in the time-space, so he felt that it was not difficult to find a common topic. The first Hokage's approach was actually right. He created a ninja village, united the ninjas, and stopped fighting. Iki said. Madara frowned slightly. He hated people praising Hashirama, especially the theories that praised Hashirama. But I feel that the first Hokage's path is narrow. Konoha is still too small. After all, the ninja world is still too small. Iki's voice rose. He imagined himself as a life mentor with countless audiences in front of him. The proportion of ninjas in the world is not high, and there are always fighting and killing. If this continues, there will be fewer and fewer. Even if it is already like this, they still divide it into 4 ninja villages and fight. It's really stupid, Yingshu said, pausing deliberately. Sure enough, Madara hesitated for less than half a second and finally spoke. 4? Because Tsunagakure is already a branch of Konoha, didn't I just say that? Iki said quickly. What I'm going to do next is to promote Konoha's system of Tsunagakure to the entire ninja world. Before, you had Susanoo, the Shodaime had would release, and the two of you ruled an era. Now, I have Susanoo, I also have wood release, and I also have the Rinnegan. I think the word ambition is born for people like me. Even if I don't have ambition, the entire ninja world will envy me. They have even formed a coalition of 3 villages, and united the 7-tailed beasts. Let's fight. Yingshu was full of enthusiasm at the moment. He stood up, and looked into the distance. There were Obito and Kakashi rushing here madly. Yingshu imagined them as the old man of the day. The old man once asked him why he wanted to be a ninja. Now, Yingshu has a brand new answer. The Susanoo no Kyusa world. The world is Konoha. I want to break the pattern of this ninja world. I want to establish a new power, not belonging to any country, only to ninjas. The mainland of the ninja world is not that big. Yingshu is also a person who travels all over the world. To be honest, he feels that it is not as big as a demon city. The huge ninja world feels that it is not even as big as his university's territory. With such a small territory and such a small thing, how difficult can it be? Heh. Madara sneered and turned his head away. I thought you would have some ideas, but now it seems that you are the same as Hashirama. No, you are even more childish than him. He and I founded Konoha together. We divided the tailed beasts and re-established the rules. That's not just talk, kid. Do you think the ninja world is a game now? Unifying the ninja world. Heh. That will only accelerate the growth of hatred and the destruction of the ninja world. Even if you have the power to suppress everything now, when you die, new hatred will grow, and the ninja world will definitely continue to usher in wars. If you do this, it will be equivalent to destroying this world. It was beyond Yingshu's expectation. Madara poured a bucket of cold water on his head. The lofty spirit that Yingshu had just felt disappeared in an instant. His passion retreated. He had to calm down and re-examine the guy lying on the ground. Warm reminder, the problem of saving bookshelves across devices for logged-in users has been corrected. If it still cannot be saved, please remember the contents of the bookshelf first, clear the cookies of the browser, log in again, and add it to the bookshelf. Afterwards. Madara has always been a thinker. When he was young, he also yearned for a beautiful future. Those unrealistic aspirations were also light goals for him. He did work hard for it for a long time. It's not only positive characters who think about doing something for the world. In the final analysis, Madara just went to an extreme. His brother died in battle. He was stabbed in the back by his best friend. No one could understand his philosophy from the beginning to the end, or rather, those who could understand him were above him, and treated him as a chess piece. Until the end, when Hashirama half crouched in front of the dying Madara. Madara finally woke up. He knew that Madara's starting point was this. He just didn't have help. Because of his choice, he was destined to fight alone. Just like all the big villains, dying with dignity may be Madara's final ending. In his own opinion, Ike's idea may be the final answer in the current ninja world. Crush everything with absolute power, the forces surrender, and the world nuclear peace. This is indeed very cool for individuals. But for Madara, it's too naive. If you want to conquer the ninja world, anyone can do it, such as Hashirama and him. During the chaotic war at that time, who in the huge ninja world didn't know Uchiha, who didn't know Senju? It's because the two knew that ending the war with force would only bring greater chaos. Therefore, Hashirama chose to distribute the tailed beasts to achieve peace, hoping for truth, goodness, and beauty between people. It seems naive, but isn't it a great wisdom? At least when he was alive, the ninja world was peaceful, and Madara chose the Moon Eye. It seems that he regards every ninja as scum, and he kills an entire ninja coalition with a wave of his hand without any psychological burden, just like a butcher, a demon. The essence of the Moon Eye, of course, is the Moon Eye in Madara's eyes, so why not force everyone's desires and ambitions to be satisfied, thereby ending the war? Madara's vision sees farther. His target is not a certain ninja, but the ninja world as a whole, in order to cure the ninja world's stubborn disease called hatred. Instead of simply ruling the ninja world. Looking at Madara, who turned his head to the other side and seemed to refuse to communicate, Iki let out a sigh. It seemed that it would be impossible to get Madara to join forces with him in the short term. Maybe you think this is childish. Iki wanted to refute, but after thinking about it, he gave up. Forget it. Wait until I'm done with all this, and then I'll come back to argue with you. Anyway, my plan is much better than your Moon Eye. It's amazing that someone would believe in something that looks like a scam for children. Madara frowned, but he ignored him. Iki then left the barrier. Although Madara disagrees with his philosophy, he has figured it out. It's not easy for him to travel through time once. It's not easy for him to survive until now, and it's not easy for him to be invincible. He has to do something, right? Now the enemies are gone. He thought Madara was the final boss, but now Madara is lying next to him. He thought Orochimaru was the final boss, but now it seems that Orochimaru is our ally. As for that bite, at least Iki himself didn't feel any strange chakra left in his body. There may be dangers in the future, but that will be a matter of 30 years later, so he can leave it to Iki 30 years later. What he has to do now is to achieve a true nuclear peace in the ninja world. Iki number 1. It's time to test its power. Warm reminder, the problem of logged in users saving bookshelves across devices has been corrected. If you still cannot save, please remember the contents of the bookshelf first, clear the cookies of the browser, log in again, and add it to the bookshelf. Chapter 279. I wish there will be no more war between us. In the 48th year of Konoha, October 13th, 7:19 AM. The former territory of Omegakure is now the battlefield of Sandagakure, Iwagakure, and Konoha. It was drizzling, and the rule of Omegakure changed hands many times, but the weather here remained the same. Of course, the war here also remained the same. The 2-year truce and Hanzo's death did not bring peace to the residents of Omegakure. On the contrary, Omegakure was divided into 3 parts, divided by Iwagakure, Konoha and Sandagakure, and the land was sold to the daimyo of Higashi at a high price. The entire Omegakure has become the border area of the 2 territories and a military buffer zone. This is not good news for the former residents of Uayu country. Hanzo's death and the division of Uayu country mean that the former residents of Uayu country have lost their country and ceased to exist. Now the war has broken out again. The entire Uayu country is already in chaos. Lord Tsunade should take over these people. They are so pitiful. Indeed. After all, it was the 3 of us who killed Hanzo. We are primarily responsible for the current situation in Uayu country. Lord Tsunade may have his own considerations. After all, our daimyo has already sold the land. We have no power in this land. No power. It seems that, after changing your eyes, your vision has also become smaller. Without power, what are we doing now? Admit it, Kakashi, you are cold-blooded at heart. I practiced the same fairy technique as Orochimaru for you. Damn. You are so brave in Miyaboku Mountain. I have never seen you beat Orochimaru. That's because he runs fast. As usual, the sound of the 2 people quarreling filled his ears. Iki automatically blocked his eyes like water. Madara refused to get involved with him. He refused to cooperate. It doesn't matter. Some things can be discussed after they are completed. 7:35. The Root Iron Triangle team crossed the sandstone line on this land and officially stepped into the territory of Iwagakure. There was no intention of stopping. The three continued to move forward and continued to go deeper. Not long ago, just a few days before Pain attacked Konoha, the three-village coalition had already begun to advance, especially a few days after Pain attacked Konoha. The war had basically broken out in an all-round way. Soon, Kakashi left the team. He found several Iwagakure scout ninjas at the 10 o'clock direction and went to deal with them. At 7:38, Kakashi returned to the team. The Root Iron Triangle team had also arrived less than 5 meters in front of the military base where the Iwagakure was stationed. Strictly speaking, this place is already a military restricted area. In front of them, there were not only explosive minefields full of traps, but also Iwagakure ninjas in the dark. They were hiding behind trees or rocks, watching the three masked guys from afar. The Iwagakure had already recognized the identities of the three. The current leader of the Root of Konoha, the successor of Wood Release and Manji Kichiri, Senromanso. The current deputy leader of the Root of Konoha, Shirogap Konoha Rege. The current deputy leader of the Root of Konoha, the first genius of Uchiha, Madara. In the last time and space, at the end of the Third Shinobi World War, there was an unwritten rule on the battlefield. Any team that was carrying out a mission could choose to abandon the mission when they encountered Golden Flash or Instant Body Shizu. Now, Golden Flash became Golden Flash. Instant Body Shizu played the game of disappearance. But this unwritten rule still exists. The three commanders of the Root of Konoha will retreat when they encounter a threat and abandon the mission unconditionally. Warm reminder, the problem of logged-in users saving bookshelves across devices has been corrected. If you still cannot save, please remember the contents of the bookshelf first. Clear the cookies of the browser, then log in again, and add the bookshelf. This is the face of the Root Triangle. Are they coming over or not? They have already retreated all the way. Kakashi was eager to try. All the way here, this group of Iwagakure kept retreating and monitoring, not fighting, nor ignoring. Is there a difference? Anyway, we have to get through it. Obito shrugged, indicating that it didn't matter. This prophecy son is actually a warmonger in his bones. Unlike Naruto, the growth history of Obito in this time and space is a killing all the way. Obito, at the age of 4.5, had already witnessed a death. That was when Iki traveled through time, but he himself didn't know it. But then again, the so-called prophecy boy is nothing more than the character in the prophecy. There is no rule that he must be a naive and pitiful person. Of course, Obito is indeed a kind person. Obito, you and Kakashi go first, Iki said while making hand seals. Just drive the people away. I need a coordinate. Understood. Obito didn't waste any time. His eyes lit up and a dark door suddenly appeared. 4 meals. I hope these guys can recognize each other. Damn. Obito muttered, and his current fairy techniques and eye techniques all have clear units of measurement. 1 long distance camo transmission, 1 high protein meal, 1 first stage Susanoo, 2 high protein meals, 1 Weezang Sage, 3 meals/minute. Of course, the first stage Susanoo is definitely not enough in this situation. So, boom. In the dark gate, Obito with a short hair, took a step out, followed by a swell, and in the blink of an eye, he turned into a giant, wearing blue armor, descending from the sky. A true sage from the sky. This giant is so huge that people have overlooked the figure on his shoulder. Kakashi is in the posture of a cheetah before launching, and his white eyes are locked on the communication ninja inside. Found it. Kakashi began to take a deep breath. 2 directions. The first is a tent that looks like a steamed bun. The yellow one. See it? Yellow, steamed bun. Found it. Obito, who had just landed, took huge steps and headed straight for the tent marked by Kakashi. It's Konoha's Madara. It's Konoha's Madara. Retreat. Retreat. Protect the medical ninjas. Retreat quickly. First squadron. Earth escape cover. Earth escape. Polar Earth flow wall. Iwagakure is a ninja village that is best at defense. Unlike the time when Iki trampled on Sunagakure, Obito basically did not encounter any counterattacks. Instead, earth walls that were not much shorter than Obito rose from the ground, trying to stop Obito's steps. Are you ready? If you're any slower, I'll get dizzy. Hurry. Alright. Hey. Whoosh. Obito activated his Kamu, deducting a large amount of chakra from a meal, and passed through the earth walls. Finally, he pretended to punch the yellow yurt. The moment the fist fell, Kakashi's figure flashed by, first using the flying thunder god on his fist to quickly approach, and then directly use the lightning chakra mode to burst to the ground at a high speed. Before Obito's fist fell, he completed the flying thunder god mark on the target person. The two were clearly separated. One chased the person away, and the other placed a mark to lock the coordinates. Watching from a distance. He closed his eyes, and the fairy chakra spread all over his body. He opened his eyes, and the waves of reincarnation were clearly visible on them. May there be no more war in the world. Immortal technique True Thousand Hands Susanoo. Warm reminder, this site uses cookie technology to save your reading records and bookshelf, so clearing browser cookie data, reinstalling the browser and other operations will make your reading progress disappear. It is recommended to occasionally take a screenshot and save the bookshelf to prevent you from losing the novel you are reading. Chapter 280 The Bloody Reality. There are 2 steps to put an elephant into a refrigerator. Open the refrigerator and put the elephant in. Iki's plan for the ninja village also has 2 steps, Susanoo Daibutsu, and then prepare to throw the Rasengan. According to the plan, Obito chased the ninjas at the Iwagakure front base like flies. Kakashi was not idle either. He had already used the transformation technique to sneak in during the chaos. According to intelligence, Iwagakure is going all out this time. Mist Gakure attacked Sand Gakure. Cloud Gakure approached the land of fire, and Iwagakure was in a pincer attack with Cloud Gakure. The Root Iron Triangle only attacked the front base, and the real army was still behind. The frontline ninjas retreated as soon as possible, joined the main army, and waited in a serious battle array. Kakashi followed the retreating Iwagakure and took advantage of the chaos to sneak to a small hillside, performed the transformation technique, opened his eyes, and entered the reconnaissance mode. TSK, there are a lot of people. Looking around, there were densely packed ninjas. Kakashi swore that this was more than the ninjas he had seen in his life. There were only 2,000 ninjas in the Rangakure, and there were at least 6 times more here. The Iwagakure are good at earth escape, and they dug out a whole mountain range of 9 to 15 square kilometers as a base. Before the route set out, there was no intelligence about the attack intention of the 3-village coalition. But Kakashi could roughly judge now, if Kimogakure and Iwagakure attacked at the same time, and once Kirigakure defeated Sandagakure, the entire Konoha would be truly surrounded. Summoning technique. Kakashi mobilized his chakra and slapped the scroll. After a puff of smoke, the person who came out was none other than Ike's clone. They use that mountain range as their base. If you blow it up, I guess you will be able to come out alive. Kakashi raised his hand and suggested. This suggestion was a bit bloody. There were at least tens of thousands of ninjas in that mountain base, the original time and space ninjas, and no more than 10,000 were used to deal with the third Raikage. Although they are enemies, there are tens of thousands of lives at stake. Let's warn them first. If they really want to die, there's nothing we can do. Nuclear strikes always come at a price. Iki also let out a sigh of relief. In fact, if Iki had driven the Susanoo Buddha here directly, the effect would actually be better. But Iki's purpose of coming here this time is more for experimentation than action. He has been thinking about this idea for a long time, and he has also tried it briefly in the wet bone forest. Just letting the Susanoo Buddha come out to scare people always feels a bit lacking in appearance. I'm going to show off. Kakashi, do you want to come with me? Iki invited. Kakashi declined. You go, and you can call Obito next time. You're just a clone, and I'm the only child of the Hatake family. There's no need. Whoosh. Iki disappeared, and when he reappeared, he was already controlling a black giant, and walked step by step to the Iwagakure mountain's base. After opening the Rinnegan, Iki not only gained the ability to absorb chakra, but also gained a lot of benefits. The pupil power of the Rinnegan is still in its infancy. Forced ripening will always have some symptoms of underdevelopment, but Iki's Susanoo has indeed been improved to a certain extent. Even if it is not a complete Susanoo, the chakra is very stable and more flexible, but not as hard. Black Susanoo moved forward, Every step was an earth-shaking movement. The Iwagakure appeared one after another, and Iki saw the figure of a familiar person from a distance. Red armor, completely covered. The tailed Jinchuriki, Han. The two have a long history. After he battled wits and courage with the old man Madara, he was surrounded by more than 100 Kumogakure strongmen as soon as he ran out of the cave. Finally, he escaped from the Iwagakure. That time, what made Iki remember most was this tailed Jinchuriki. It's a pity that he didn't understand the boiling escape, otherwise he could have an extra chakra mode. Warm reminder, in order to facilitate everyone's book selection, the ranking page of the website has been optimized. You can try it. But now it seems that Han should be the current highest commander of the Iwagakure army. Dang. Yingshu controlled Susanoo and tapped the back of his left hand with his right hand. Is anyone here? It was as if he was just visiting. Master Han. I didn't see any trace of other people. He is the only one here. A perceptive ninja quickly came to Han's side to report the situation. Sandaime Sama and Lady Muratsuki are on their way. I know. Han's voice was calm, and no emotion could be heard. From his only exposed eyes, there was no panic. This is related to Han's own personality. Before becoming a Jinchuriki, Han was a hard-working monk. After becoming a Jinchuriki, he also had to hone his own strength day and night. 9-tailed beasts, 9 Jinchuriki. Each Jinchuriki is trying to borrow the power of the 9-tailed beasts, except for Kushina. Han is the most diligent among all the Jinchuriki. So when he faced the black giant like a mountain, Han was not panicked at all. The 5-tailed beast was panicked. Although it was not very strong, the 5-tailed beast could clearly feel the special chakra in the black Susanoo. But the 5-tailed beast was not sure what the familiar, yet strange feeling was. Han was about 350 meters in front of the black Susanoo in an instant. Tell me your purpose, Senju Hideki. You have already stepped into the territory of Iwagakure Ninja Village. If you take one more step forward, I will regard it as the start of war. Han was serious. Well, Kurosazu took a step forward. Hideki put his arms around his chest and looked at Han below with amusement. Let's start the war. This feeling of looking down on others. He finally understood why Bei was so arrogant. Han hesitated for a full 5 seconds. Finally, he raised an arm. He felt the pressure. It was different from a few years ago. At that time, the uneasiness of the 5 tails made him alert, and he always maintained the pressure in a head-on battle. And now, not only the 5 tails, but he himself is also a little powerless in the face of this black Susanoo. As the first commander of this army of tens of thousands, even if he is not an opponent, he must lead by example. The Iwagakure behind him immediately retreated. This is to give Han room. You will pay the price for your arrogance. Heh. Han shouted, mobilizing the chakra of the sealed-tailed beast, and his momentum sword would release Bamboo Realm Prison. Bamboos rose from the ground one by one. Iki's would release was a complete success, especially after opening the Rinnegan. Now, the bamboo world has descended. Before locking onto the enemy, it has given up on entanglement and just stood upright beside Han. The bamboos are neatly arranged, which is simply the gospel for people with obsessive compulsive disorder. This is the product of the combination of wood release, bamboo world descent and sealing technique. While being indestructible, it can also continuously absorb chakra. The bamboo world prison is worthy of its name. Be quiet for a while. Yingshu looked coldly at Han who was trapped below. Han used to be able to fight with him for hundreds of moves. Now Han, with a clone and a technique, can't move. This is the bloody reality. Yingshu made a seal to summon his clone again, which was used to transmit coordinates to the distant body. The Ninja World War is really coming to an end. Warm reminder, in order to facilitate everyone's book selection, the ranking page of the website has been optimized. You can try it. Chapter 281 Two Dwarfs. PS. I went to Konoha and just came back. Sorry. Everyone knows me. I won't leave the front line, even if I'm slightly injured. I'll update even if the temperature is 39. I really went to Konoha. Sigh. Take a deep breath. Although it's not the first time, Yingshu is still a little nervous now. The distance is 30 kilometers. The altitude difference is exactly 25 meters. The air humidity, wind speed, ambient temperature, Chakra stability, the digestion level of dry food in the morning. Yingshu is really worried. After all, if one accidentally uses too much force, the ninja Sinai Wagakure will really become extinct. That's it. Anyway, there is still clone control in the end. After Yingshu adjusted himself, he began to mobilize chakra. The Susanoo-style Great Buddha behind the Rinnegan has risen a lot higher. The Great Buddha still hasn't broken through the 1000-meter mark. Iki doesn't know how the former Hashirama did it. It's really hard to do it without the complete Ashura chakra. Iki doesn't have enough chakra, and he hasn't reached the pinnacle of wood release. But, he still has Susanoo. Susanoo's height has increased, and the Great Buddha has finally broken through the 1000-meter mark. This gives Iki a good view. Without the eyes, he can probably lock the position of the shadow clone. Hydrogen release shuriken, 2 shots. Coordinates, shadow clone number 1. The thousands of giant hands behind the Great Buddha are no longer machetes. On 2 of the hands, chakra quickly gathered and condensed into balls. In 2 seconds, the chakra ball was condensed. It was light blue, circular, with a radius of 3.7 meters, and surrounded by a red rotating fan blade with wind pressure. It was 2 enlarged hydrogen escape, Rasen shurikens. Loaded, fired. The 2 giant hands leaned back, and then threw it suddenly. Whoosh! This action was accompanied by a burst of wind pressure. Although it looked like a ball of light thrown out by an arm, in fact, this scale was comparable to a large-scale trebuchet attacking a city. Yingshu was doing something right now. Just like in the previous time and space, the 10-tailed beast ball destroyed the coalition headquarters from a distance. There is no guidance system, only the location of the shadow clone's chakra, feeling. Don't underestimate these 2 words. The 10-tails accurately hit the Allied forces headquarters thousands of miles away. Iki's dust release and hydrogen release are all based on feeling. The difference now is that the tailed beast uses its mouth, while the Great Buddha uses his hands. 2 hydrogen release Rasengans went straight to the Iwagakure base. On the other side, Iki's shadow clones had already attracted enough attention in front of the Iwagakure Allied forces. A great philosopher once said, "Resistance is useless, choose to lie down, and you will feel good sooner or later." Iki said earnestly. He wanted to understand Han, understand this seemingly dull Iwagakure man. You should have heard that I tamed the sand martin from the sand gakure as a pet. To be honest, I don't like the tailed beast very much. It's too aggressive, and has a bad temper, and it's hard to discipline. But for the peace and stability of the sand gakure and Konoha, I can only bear a little grievance. You know, I'm a soft-hearted person. Han struggled frantically. He tried to break free from the chakra-absorbing thing that bound him. He wanted to fight, but he couldn't. He could only watch Yingshu pretending to be proud in the black giant's brow. Come to Konoha, my friend. Warm reminder, if you think this book is good, please remember to add it to your bookshelf to avoid not finding it next time. Yingshu spread his hands, and Susanoo also spread his hands, like a giant with a sad heart, opening his arms to his children. The treatment in Konoha is very good, especially for Jinkriki. You know the one-tailed Jinkriki, right? Now he has 3 children. Come to Konoha, the girls are pretty and the treatment is good. If you bring your relatives and friends, such as your 4-tailed Jinkriki, we can also match you with a house. 3 bedrooms, 1 living room, a huge balcony, and there are many beauties in the community. Are you sure you don't want to consider it? Poor Yingshu. His own house was blown to pieces, but he was still thinking about how to arrange a house for the Jinkriki. Really? You, what on earth do you want to do? Han suppressed an angry roar rang out. He was just trapped, so he shouldn't be so uncalm. The key is that when Yingshu subdued him, he never stopped attacking the Iwagakure. That bamboo forest was like the land of the god of death. One after another, the Iwagakure wanted to come to support their Jinkriki, but one after another, they fell there forever. So I said don't resist anymore, don't you understand? Yingshu's expression suddenly turned cold, and his face was covered with 7 sullen sneers. War, 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 all you know is war, grabbing land and resources. Will you die if you don't start a war? Look at those people in the displaced camp in the land of rain. Look at what you are like now. The human-tailed beasts are living well in the ninja world, but you insist on stuffing them into your stomachs as weapons of war. Don't you feel guilty? Oh, Yingshu suddenly noticed two figures in the distance, raised his eyebrows, and stopped being cynical, and returned to normal. They were two dwarfs. One was holding the other, and they were rushing towards this side at a high speed. Yingshu estimated that the average height of the two people would not exceed 1.4 meters. Apparently, it was Inoki and Muratsuki, the two shortest people in the ninja world. Yingshu glanced back. Two balls of chakra were approaching at a rapid speed. It's a little off, but it's not a big problem, and the timing is just right. If it's a little later, I can't continue. Yingshu muttered, and then formed seals with both hands, and Susanoo gradually dissipated. He was just a shadow, and he didn't have much chakra, and he just lost a lot of chakra in order to accurately transmit the coordinates to the body. Fortunately, the rest of his work was very simple, and he only needed a little bit of pupil power to complete the operation. Yingshu landed lightly in front of Han. The surrounding bamboos were blown away. Han wanted to struggle, but his chakra had been almost sucked out. A handful of bamboo can suck out the chakra of the 8 tails. 100 bamboos can more than suck out the chakra of the 5 tails. Han was no longer restrained by the bamboos, and his body was no longer supported. He was completely exhausted and knelt on the ground with a plop. That's not necessary. Yingshu put his hands behind his back, but his eyes fell on Inoki and Laozi in the distance. They had stopped moving forward. They discovered the two huge chakra balls. Tell Noki that the third 5-cage summit will be held in Konoha in 3 days. The content of the negotiation is exactly the same as the first 5-cage summit, but this time, we need to bring the Jinkriki with us. Otherwise, the next landing point of this technique will be directly above Iwagakure village. After saying this, Iki turned his head, glared, and activated his pupil power. The next second, boom. Warm reminder, if you think this book is good, please remember to add it to your bookshelf to avoid not finding it next time. Chapter 282 Next stop. Yingshu made a mistake. His idea was to use 2 hydrogen release Rasengan to explode in the air and scare the Iwagakure villains, so as to achieve the effect of defeating the enemy without fighting. People, just scare them. There is no need to kill them all. Don't be too ruthless. That would be too much of a sin, and the little friends would be scared to tears. After shocking the Tsunagakure, he used emotion and reason to persuade them. At the Shadow Conference, he would repair the unequal treaty on the distribution of the tailed beasts. Then the problem came. This shock effect. Yingshu is a liberal arts student after all. He knows that some things taste better when frozen. He didn't know that some things, air explosions, are more powerful. The explosion resounded through the sky, and even though he was 30 kilometers away, Yingshu could hear it clearly. The flames shot up into the sky, and a large area of the sky was directly reflected in red. Yingshu couldn't feel the vibration and heat, and his shadow clones dissipated by themselves for fear of pain, and couldn't feel the power, but he could roughly guess it. Without Susanoo's butt-sticking tactics, it's probably impossible to withstand it. This. Yingshu scratched his head. With that little chakra, they shouldn't be dead, right? Yingshu also had no idea about his current strength. So, would release, Woodman technique, a slap can destroy the 9 tails tailed beast ball. Theoretically, the 2 hydrogen release Rasengans from Susanoo could not be weaker than the 9 tails tailed beast ball. In other words, the 2 hydrogen release Rasengans he threw out were more powerful than or equal to the 2 tailed beast balls. The 2 balls that reached the tailed beast balls released their power in the most comfortable position in midair. I should choose a slightly farther reference next time. Alas, Iki was helpless. He decided to let the shadow clone make a big wooden man next time, destroying the sky and the earth first. Then he would use his long-range attack to blow the big wooden man to pieces. This way of shocking, green, environmentally friendly, and most importantly, not useless. Otherwise, after a round of negotiations, only Konoha will be left in the ninja world, so how can we play? Iki was also worried. He made a seal, and left a shadow clone on the ground. Iki jumped down from the Susanoo Buddha, and Obito had been waiting for a long time. Did you hit it? Obito asked. It should be no problem anyway. Iki felt a little guilty. What he was most afraid of now was that the 4th Tsuchikage would come to the meeting of that Tsuchikage in 3 days. Whoosh. Kakashi and several flying thunder gods rushed back, and the three giant heads of the root reunited. Iki found that Kakashi looked at him with a strange look. Isn't it? Iki didn't know the specific power, but Kakashi saw it clearly. So said, if he hadn't been able to launch Flying Thunder God at the same time as fuck, the Hatake family would have been extinct. What? White Fang is still alive, and married for the second time, to carry on the family line? Haha. Let's not talk about the fact that White Fang has passed that golden age, and is very likely unable to do it. Even if the person is still strong, Kakashi's theoretical younger brother slash sister slash indifferent younger brother slash sister. So, where are we going next? Obito put a mouthful of potato chips into his mouth. Kumogakure is the closest to here, Kakashi said, but the fight over there in Kirigakure is the most fierce. I asked Minato sensei before I left. Kirigakure sent out 3 Jinchuriki, which is quite fierce. But, Kakashi hesitated. Warm reminder, this site uses cookie technology to save your reading history and bookshelf, so clearing browser cookie data, reinstalling the browser and other operations will make your reading progress disappear. It is recommended to occasionally take a screenshot and save the bookshelf in case you can't find the novel you are reading. Yingshu frowned slightly. He probably knew what Kakashi was going to say. It's about a person, a little fairy who can't be called a little fairy, Meditarumi. He used to be a small spy in Kirishigashi, and after being subdued by him with excellent tactics, he stayed in Konoha. During the period of being captured by Konoha, he ate and drank for free at his home for more than a year, and didn't pay the rent. He was saved by his powerful fighting power in the Chunin examination, and turned the tide. He was really handsome at that time, but that was all in the past. Although he hadn't seen Meditarumi for a long time, and she had changed a lot since she grew up, he didn't know what she looked like. But according to what he heard in Konoha, this girl was completely different from the marriageable lady in the previous time and space. 7 Tails Jinchuriki. It was amazing. When Iki first heard the news, he thought Kirin was going to create an ultimate bloodstained ninja, or 3 bloodstained body. But as time went by, he no longer had any interest in these bloodstains. It's nothing more than a special reaction caused by the subtle combination of chakra and the human body. Different blood limits have different ways of chakra activation. Boiling style is like this, scorching style is like this, melting style is like this, Orochi style is like this. Even the bloodstains of these special organs such as Sharingan and Nigan are the same. It's just that Iki hasn't found the password yet. Otherwise, Obito's main Kyoto Eternal A will turn blue, and Kakashi's Nigan will also turn blue. Mastering the microscopic reactions of chakras is how you do whatever you want. Let's attack from 2 directions. Iki suggested. You two go to Kumogakure, and I'll go to Mist Gakure. Try to deliver the negotiation notice within 1 day. When you get there, just use the scroll to call out my shadow body. It's not a big problem. This is actually not a conflict. Kumogakure is close. After passing the Rain Country and Iwagakure's territory, you can reach the place where the Kumogakure's main force is now. It's just right for Kakashi and Obito to go there. Kakashi can also appreciate the lightning release chakra mode of the 3rd Raikage. Some things are better learned from real ninjas. What can you learn from Orochimaru? Will Kakashi become Kakashi? And according to Iki's plan, they only need to send the shadow body to the place. The ritual sense is full, the coordinates are located, and a hide and release Rasen Shuriken is launched here. It can be accurately guided at a long distance, no problem. Considering that Kirin had already started the attack, Iki felt that he had to do it himself. It would be fine if the 3 Jinchuriki were together, but if not, he would have to catch them by himself. Alas. You are such a beautiful woman, but you were dragged into the vortex of war, which is really pitiful. You should come to Konoha. The treatment is good, and the rent is paid by the way. Obito was reluctant. Do you want to leave? He glanced at Kakashi with disdain. Can you let him go by himself? Anyway, he can run fast. Damn it. Kakashi gritted his teeth and sighed, grabbed Obito's potato chips, and left without saying a word. Kakashi, I'm telling you, Lichi, you don't know what you're doing right now. You should give it back to me right now. If you dare to take a bite, I'll kill you with a god of power. Obito went crazy, but Kakashi just ran away with a flying thunder god. This idiot. Spring is only 2 or 3 months away. Why don't you have any sense? This person, Iki. I'm afraid he's really going to kidnap the girl this time. P.S. I'll make up for it when it's restored tomorrow. Trust me, I'm Guan. Warm reminder, the problem of saving bookshelves across devices for logged-in users has been fixed. If it still cannot be saved, please remember the contents of the bookshelf first, clear the cookies of the browser, and then log in again, and add it to the bookshelf. Chapter 283 Today's Meditarumi. Very good, this gang can't hold on any longer. If they keep going like this, it won't be a problem to take down Tsunagakure in one fell swoop. Kiragakure was at the front line of Tsunagakure, commanding the main camp. Looking at the progress on the sand table and the small flags inserted one by one on the Tsunagakure plates, the Kiragakure ninjas couldn't hide their joy. They haven't had such a satisfying battle for a long time. When they fought against Konoha before, they had to be careful everywhere and stay alert at all times. If they were not careful, the base camp might have to be changed again. Niga and Orochimaru were once nightmares in Kiragakure's heart. The ghostly tactics and powerful combat power once made the Kiragakure miserable. But now it's different. Their opponent is Tsunagakure. The 4th Kazakage Rasa doesn't seem to be a Kage who is good at commanding wars. The Sand Village ninjas were losing ground. In a short period of time, the Kirigumi had advanced a long way in the desert and were about to reach the Sand Village. Don't forget our goal, everyone. A beautiful figure spoke coldly in front of the sand table. She had long, smooth brown hair, fair skin, a pretty face, and a tall stature. She was not in the development level of her age, and she was not mature enough for her age. Kirigumi, the captain of the Jounin squad, and the Seven Tails Jinchuriki of Kirigumi, was also the commander of the Kirigumi army in this surprise attack on Sand Village. Meditarumi. The yellow sand under our feet has no meaning. Our goal is to ensure that Sand Village will not become a barrier for Konoha. The girl said coldly. Everyone, we can't move forward. Meditarumi put her hands on the table and looked around. No one dared to contradict her. Today's Meditarumi is no longer the little girl who was a hostage. Don't be confused by the current results. Konoha will react soon. We can't be their primary target. The union of the 3 villages does sound beautiful. Meditarumi remained rational. But no matter what the result is, Meditarumi is not optimistic. After all, that is Konoha. She has been there, she has seen it, and she knows how deep the foundation of Konoha is. If Kirigakure must choose an ally, she would rather choose Konoha. Meditarumi always has some concerns in her heart when facing such a huge enemy. So, she is cautious. That's all. Go and prepare yourself. Meditarumi issued an unquestionable order. With her identity and her strength, she has the permission and confidence to do so. We will stay here until Iwagakure and Kumogakure report. Meditarumi was halfway through her words when a Kirigakure suddenly rushed in. Urgent report from the front line. The Iwagakure ninja unit is suspected to have been attacked by Konoha, and the current situation is still uncertain. The Konoha route is suspected to have been dispatched to fight, and the specific situation is still to be verified. Konoha route, a name with special meaning. The route used to be nothing more than an organization similar to the Anbu. Assassination, lurking, spying. And since the route changed, that guy became the leader of the route. The meaning of the Konoha route to the major ninja villages, and even the entire ninja world, has changed. Would release ninja, Manjaki. The power of these 2 blood inherited limits is so strong, that any one of them is a great threat to the ninja world. The route. Terumi Mei hesitated for a moment. Her face remained unchanged, but her heartbeat became faster and faster. Continue to verify the situation. I want to know whether Konoha considers Iwagakure as the main attack direction. Quickly. Warm reminder, there are functions such as switch between simplified and traditional Chinese, adjust font size, and read background color in the upper right corner of the page. Yes. The Kirigakure left quickly. Meditarumi looked around the room, and everyone had a look of surprise on their faces. The route attacked the Iwagakure. It should be Konoha that suddenly launched an attack on the Iwagakure. But this proves that they put the Tsunagakure at the back of the priority list. This is our chance. Yes, we can take down the Tsunagakure in one fell swoop. With the Iwagakure attracting Konoha's attention for us, we are not far from the snow shame. The route is indeed famous. but in the final analysis, it is just a department of Konoha. No matter how strong a ninja is, he is just a ninja in the final analysis. No matter how strong he is, he can't compete with a ninja army. Isn't the reason why White Fang Dangji is famous in the ninja world, because he single-handedly killed a Sandagakure stronghold and wiped out a Sandagakure puppet army? But the current situation is different. The Root faced an entire Iwagakure ninja army. The only explanation is that Konoha launched a general attack on Iwagakure. They discovered the intention of the three-village coalition and tried to find an opportunity to break the blockade. My lord, give the order. A long-haired Kirigumi suddenly spoke up. This is a great opportunity. Konoha is too busy to deal with it. As long as we take down Tsunagakure, the shame of the past will be washed away soon. Yes, my lord. Someone immediately echoed. Tsunagakure is not an army, and the 4th Kazakage has no talent. We only need, my lord. Because of Orochimaru and White Fang in the past, the morale of Kirigumi is high at this time. It is exciting. They are preparing to take down Tsunagakure and then Konoha in one fell swoop. Terumi only needs to give an order, and all the Kirigakure will attack regardless of everything. They can overcome the difficulties brought by the difference in environment, so it's not a big problem. As long as they can kill Konoha and let Konoha experience the taste of being defeated, it will be fine. This seems to be the case. The three-mirror coalition attacked from 3 directions, and they all tried their best, with all the tailed beasts out. In this situation, even a strong Konoha can only avoid its sharp edge. Tsunagakure doesn't even have the capital to fight. What does the so-called 4th Kazakage of Rasa know? Terumi said nothing. Reason told her, Konoha attacked Iwagakure, which proved that Konoha might have regarded Iwagakure as their attack direction, which was a great thing for Kirigakure. But emotions and the sudden inexplicable restlessness of the 7 tails in her body told her, go. Terumi Mae's silence at this moment was not because she was considering whether to issue an attack signal. Instead, she was fighting with the restless 7 tails in her body. The scene came to the sealed space. The 7 tails crawled on the ground, and Terumi Mae looked up through the seal. Little girl, I advise you to leave here immediately, the farther the better. I want to know why. You never spoke to me before. I feel an unknown aura approaching. Unknown. Can you tell me more specifically? Don't worry, you are safe here. You know nothing about power, little girl. Let's go. Don't. Nanao was silent for a moment, accompanied by the noise from the outside world. Terumi was about to leave the sealed space, but heard Nanao sigh. It's too late. Warm reminder, there are functions such as switch between simplified and traditional Chinese, adjust font size, and reading background color in the upper right corner of the page. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 284. War begins. Temperament imitation degree. 180%. Posture imitation degree. 120%. Overall imitation degree. 200%. Congratulations on unlocking the Uchiha Madara template and obtaining a set of mini Susanoo. A towering bamboo suddenly grew out of the yellow sand. 35 meters tall, slender and straight, lush and green. On the bamboo, a black-haired figure stood with his hands behind his back, not saying a word, his eyes slightly narrowed, as if he was taking a nap, but in fact he was just pretending. Yingshu cheered himself up a little, imitating the posture of Madara before the battle against the ninja coalition, and felt good about himself. In the first half of the time travel, Yingshu's life was actually full of fantasy. Time travelers are real. The gold fingers that are standard for time travelers are all fake. If they were real, he wouldn't have to take so many beatings and suffer so much. He's already 14 or 15 years old and doesn't even have a girlfriend. If they were real, he could have killed Orochimaru with a glare, blown out Black Zetsu with a breath, and easily reached the peak of his life. So, people, don't think too much. What if it's real? People, don't dream too much. What if it comes true? Question mark? He has Bankei. Immortal Seal plus Yin Seal plus Rinnegan in development. 3-pronged approach. Bankei. He also has the one button kill mode. There are his shadow clones in the Rain Country, plus the majestic Buddha. As long as there is a coordinate, it's just a matter of remote guidance and precise strikes. He has Iki number 1 and Iki number 2 following him. Killing in seconds is not a dream. He is just afraid of killing too many people. As for which character imitates the king of dance of Konoha. Haha. That guy who loves to dance is now in Konoha and is isolated. A full 20 shadow clones of ninjutsu are staring at him, and they will explode on the spot if he moves at all. Indeed. Iki knows that he has not reached the peak. The Rinnegan has not fully evolved. The sage body also has room to grow. Blood fusion. 6 paths mode. Various modes. There is no doubt in his mind that he has already stood at the current peak position in this world. What peak? For ninjas, the cage of each village is a peak. For example, in Konoha, Tsuna may not be the strongest ninja, but she is the strongest medical ninja. For example, in Kumogakure, they are not good at sealing, and the 8-tails sometimes goes berserk, but their cage Sandamei can always beat the 8-tails back with his fists. For example, in Iwagakure, Noki is not tall, has a high age group, and his dust release is unmatched. For example, in Kirigakure, forget about this one. Finally, there is Sunagakure, they have a hard-working Kazakage. Rasa, don't mention anything else, I'm hard-working anyway. Iki is not the cage of a village. He never had this goal, and if he had it, it was to help Obito. But he has the power to end a life. Warm reminder, there are functions such as switch between simplified and traditional Chinese, adjust font size, and read background color in the upper right corner of the page. At this moment, Yingshu was looking down from a high place, and in the distance, there were densely packed ninjas rushing towards him. They all wore the forehead protectors of the mist invisibility, but their faces were covered with gauze. Fighting in this dry desert was also a challenge for the mist invisibility. This guy Luosha, is he sure that Konoha will help him? He didn't bring anyone with him? Yingshu looked at the mist invisibility rushing towards him from a distance, and then glanced at the empty sand invisibility behind him, and complained. There is a reason why the sand invisibility keeps losing battles again and again. I can't beat you. I surrender. I pay. If you want the territory, you can have it. Anyway, there is no money. If not, just keep fighting. Yes, just for fun the Sunagakure, who is now in power, is concentrating on mining and developing the economy under the false and shabby strategy of Rasa. That is to stay away from disputes, and hold high the card of avoiding war. Peace is supreme. To be honest, Yingshu likes this state. Can't you, Iwagakure and Youngakure, learn from Rasa and mine, and develop the economy? Can't you, Wuin, do something about the aquaculture industry? Can't you mine the seabed methane hydrate and natural gas? Not doing your job. Huh. With 2 fingers raised, Yingshu prepared to do the same as he saw the mist hiders getting closer. The shadow clones were positioned, and then they were fired, and a hydrogen-style Rasengan was launched. Yingshu thought for a moment. Forget it, let's just have some fun first. With a raised eyebrow, Yingshu jumped down from the towering bamboo. During the process, the bamboo lost its chakra support and shrank rapidly, and finally sank into the ground and disappeared. As for Yingshu, his whole body was burning with black chakra, as if a dark flame was shrouding his body, and he landed directly on the ground and landed safely. Opening the Samsara eye changed more than just his pupil power. His chakra became more delicate and more stable. The current Hideki may be more qualified to call himself Otsutsuki Hideki. Invincible below the 6 paths, 1 for 1 above the 6 paths. And only his Hideki series of nuclear weapons can be replaced. Facing the army of Kirigakure ninjas, Hideki took out a machete. Song. The machete was filled with Hideki's chakra, and the blade seemed to be burning with black flames. In the future, when your grandchildren ask you what is the most glorious thing in your life, I think you can answer like this. Hideki shouted loudly, full of courage. Today, October 13th, the 48th day of Konoha. You have fought with me, Otsutsuki Hideki. This battle can bring honor to your ancestors and let your legacy be passed down for thousands of generations. Raise the knife. Yingshu charged. He's coming. It's the enemy. Take this guy down. Go ahead. The Kirigakures also charged. They roared and rushed towards Yingshu, but they were too far away just now, so they couldn't hear what Yingshu was shouting. Bang! Yingshu killed a Kirigakure in the Kirigakure army, and a Konoha gang kicked a Kirigakure fiercely. The Kirigakure flew backwards, spitting blood and knocking down many of his companions. Yingshu swung his sword, and the chakra flame suddenly ignited. The former brat, because of a fight with a little kid, he was able to use hydrogen escape. The former young boy, because of being bullied by Uchiha Chunin, opened his own Senju road. The former young boy, now he has the Samsara. At this moment, the only thing he wants to do is fight. Warm reminder, in order to facilitate everyone's book selection, the website's ranking page has been optimized. You can try it. Chapter 285, The Good Young Man Hidden in the Mist. This is definitely a nightmare that will shroud Mist Hidden Ninja for the rest of his life. The man holds a 5-meter long black machete and is covered in black chakra flames, like a black devil from hell. Every time he swings the sword, the chakra blade that seems to be real hits his body, and his companions fly out in pieces. Some people try to use ninjutsu to defeat the enemy, but it's useless. Water escape, wind escape, and all the ninjutsu that the Mist Hidden Ninjas have practiced so hard have no effect on this man. It's a bit of a reverse metaphor for reality. This man's body seems to have a sea hidden in it, and those waves of ninjutsu are like small drops of water. They can hit him, but nothing happens. Yingshu is also killing mad. Of course, the word kill means more about combo than slaughter. It's not that Iki held back. Of course he was letting Kirin off without Susanoo. It's not because Kirin has become stronger and can fight back in front of Otsutsuki. It's simply because Iki's concept of attack has changed. Especially after the fight with Uchiha Madara, Iki's fighting mindset has changed. People who come out of the macro world don't think about solving problems with fists and feet. Isn't this 5-meter long machete of his the first form of Susanoo's machete? Iki smashed it with bangs, and Kirin didn't dare to get close. Gradually, Kirin kept a distance from Iki. Their passion of taking down Tsunagakure in one fell swoop and advancing to Konoha receded. Gradually, Iki also felt bored. It is sometimes fun for a full-level boss to go to the novice village to bully noobs. But it is a bit disgusting for a full-level boss to go to the novice village to kill monsters. The key is that the equipment has not exploded yet. Iki simply stopped chopping. No energy. The chakra was withdrawn, revealing his handsome face that makes girls' hearts beat faster and ants secrete saliva. A tall man of 1.9 meters, with short hair full of sunshine, matched with such a handsome face. No matter how you look at Kirin, it is scary. I'm here to negotiate, everyone. Iki started again. Call your Jinkriki over here, and the Mizukaja as well. I have something to discuss with them. Yingshu raised his hand, and got a small earth escape stool, threw the machete aside, and sat down. 5 seconds passed. Kirin did not move, still looking at Yingshu with a wary look, but more people no longer had the intention to rush forward. 10 seconds passed. Yingshu just sat there, looking unguarded, and the chakra flame on his body disappeared. He was not in a hurry. With so much commotion here, the Jinkriki or something would definitely come. He just waited patiently. It wouldn't be a big problem. Now he was like a dragon sleeping soundly in a cave. The villagers stood at the entrance of the cave, but none of them had the courage to approach. At this time, in the mist, a young man sensed an opportunity. This young man was tall, looked strong, and his eyes were full of brilliance. He had a shark face, which looked a little scary and a little wretched. The Mist Hidden Genin, Ganpei Kiyomi. Kiyomi felt that this was his chance. This guy was too careless, with wounds all over his body. If he could stab him by surprise, even if it was just a scratch, it would definitely cause him serious damage. Kiyomi is a man of action. Warm reminder, this site uses cookie technology to save your reading history and bookshelf, so clearing browser cookie data, reinstalling the browser and other operations will make your reading progress disappear. It is recommended to occasionally take a screenshot and save the bookshelf in case you can't find the novel you are reading. After having this idea in his mind, he has already moved. At this moment, he has twisted and turned through the crowd and has circled to a position less than 20 meters to the side of this guy. This is not an optimal position. If you want to sneak attack, backstab is the best. but Gyao knows that this person must be guarding behind him, so the side is the most stable. But here comes the problem. If he is the only one to charge, the result may be that he will be divided into 8 sections. During this period, Kizuki was still a good young man of Kirin, and he had ideals. Kizuki wanted to make achievements, wanted to do something for Kirin, and wanted to be a hero in the eyes of the younger generation. But he was not stupid, he was not afraid of death, but he didn't want to give up. Fortunately, at this time, Kizuki saw another person in the direction behind this guy. He knew this guy. He was a genius of the Kizuki clan. He was famous in the ninja school, and he was the top student in the school in both cultural performance and ninja performance. Kizuki main jutsu. Is he also going to sneak attack this guy? Kizuki used to be unhappy with this guy. Good family background, high talent, handsome. Is it really rare for such a ninja to appear in Kirin? But now, Kiyomi feels a little sympathetic towards this guy. You dare to sneak attack this evil ghost? You and I are good brothers. Although it is very likely that you and I will both die here. I, Kiyomi, recognize you as a guy. So, I have to let this guy go first. When the evil ghost's attention is on him, it will be my best chance. 20 meters. This distance is not long. But Kiyomi knows that with his advanced instant body technique, the fastest time is 2.5 seconds. He only has one life, so he only has one chance, and he doesn't want to waste it. Kizuki main jutsu suddenly noticed Kizuki. This cowardly brat. Forget it, let me do it. As the first genius of the Kizuki clan of the time, Kizuki main jutsu has a sense of mission. Indeed, a sneak attack from the rear may bring shame to the Kizuki clan, but the enemy is as fierce as the demon. Now is the time for him to be careless. Being able to kill him here is more important than losing face. Kizuki main jutsu's body began to turn into water. His sneak attack method will be to use a water ion cannon to hit the back of the demon's head. Kizuki main jutsu began to mobilize chakra. Kizuki also noticed it. He crouched down and prepared to charge. Yingshu also noticed it. He has been waiting. When will these two guys make a move? There are more than one mist invisibility who want to sneak attack him. Yingshu seems not to care, but in fact, he is enjoying his current state. Yes, enjoying it. The perception of chakra, the perception of life breath. The samsara its uses are endless. In Yingshu's calculations, Kizuna main jutsu will be the third one to attack. If the first one is not Kizuna, he can't even take the fifth one. There are more than these two mist invisibility who want to sneak attack him. However, all of this will obviously not happen. Yingshu suddenly stood up and stretched. This action scared a lot of people. There is a big difference between a sleeping dragon and a stretching dragon. It's really nothing for this dragon, but for these villagers holding rolling pins and kitchen knives, the change is huge. Yingshu looked far away and ignored these little karami. A beautiful figure approached quickly from the crowd. Yingshu raised his eyebrows. You are here. P.S. I dare not speak. Warm reminder, this site uses cookie technology to save your reading history and bookshelf, so clearing browser cookie data, reinstalling the browser and other operations will make your reading progress disappear. It is recommended to occasionally take a screenshot to save the bookshelf in case you can't find the novel you are reading. Chapter 286 A Sad Love Story. In Ika's impression, there are two versions of Meitarumi. One is the one in that time and space who couldn't find a partner at the time of marriage and flirted with young girls all day long. The other is the one who lived in his house for a year and became a virtual girlfriend and spy with Kumi. But no matter which impression it is very different from the current Meitarumi. A long blue skirt, long brown hair, fair skin, beautiful long legs, and at first glance, the hardware aspect is simply a hidden version of Kumi. This girl is only 14 years old, and she has developed so well. Ika's eyes came to Meitarumi's face, and looked into her eyes. She has a beautiful face and delicate facial features. She is a different type of beauty from Kumi. Kumi is sexy, while Meitarumi is sensual and sexy, especially that beautiful hair. It's different from the time-space version, and it's also different from the little spy version. His long orange hair fell down, and he looked exactly the same as before his buzz cut. You're here. Meitarumi stared at the big boy in front of her. He's grown so big. He's taller, a lot taller, and even at such a distance, she still has to hold her head high. His hair was cut off, and he looks clean, but he looks almost the same as he did a few years ago. Sunny, upward, and a little domineering. But Meditarumi walked along, and there were so many injured people carrying them behind her. This guy held back. Otherwise, with his temper, there would be no injured people in this battle. This is also the reason why Meditarumi doesn't know how to face her. Long time no see, you've grown taller and prettier. Iki raised his eyebrows again and spoke. HMM. Terumi Medi nodded slightly. Question mark? The one who just pulled out the Onisei was puzzled. The water gun was ready to use Kizuki Maingetsu to express his puzzlement. Not only the two of them, many Kirigumi were confused now. The two of them seemed to be a couple who had broken up for 8 years and suddenly met in the crowd. But the actual situation is that Terumi Mei has become the captain of the Kirigumi village's Jonin squad and the Seven Tails Jinchuriki. In a sense, she is the Kirigumi's White Fang, and at the very least, the Shikaku in the Inoshikacho. He just beat up the Mist Hidden Force. The scene was very violent for a while. Two of them are enemies. To be honest, Yingshu got a plot of the son-in-law was looked down upon and went out to sweep the place, but he had an adventure and came back in a strong position, or he got a plot of the engagement was broken off at the beginning, and the poor young man should not be bullied for 30 years, but now, he has counterattacked. What a pity, he is here to do business now. He is the big villain. Yingshu was seen surrounded by thousands of people, smiling, and stretched out his hand to Terumi Mei. Come with me, Konoha, back to my home. The Kiriin are getting nervous. You want our number one to go back to Konoha with you? This is a provocation. This is definitely a provocation. But this damn thing, this abominable thing, full of the scent of youthful love. What is going on? Question mark? Not to mention, now Iki has already lifted the combat mode and looks harmless and has been waiting for a long time, apparently waiting for Meditarumi to come. Some of the Kiriin lesbians have already started to imagine. Could it be that this guy's killing people everywhere just to see Meditarumi? To see our number one? Warm reminder, to make it easier for everyone to choose books, the ranking page of the website has been optimized. You can try it. This is definitely a sad and beautiful love story. Of course, brainstorming aside, the hostile status has not been lifted. The Kiriin are more expecting. They expect our number one to show his prowess, mobilize the power of the tailed beast, and take down this bastard. Meditarumi did not respond. She looked straight into Ika's eyes, thinking that this was the limit of what she could do. He is so direct, what should I do? Meditarumi's heart was beating fast. He wanted to take her away as soon as he opened his mouth. Was this a provocation? No. Meditarumi is not a love-brained person. She is the captain of the Kiryu Jonin squad and the commander of the Kiryu ninja unit. At the age of 14, she can reach this position. In addition to her strength, her wisdom and talent are also recognized. But at this moment, when she stood in front of Iki, for so many years, Iki's figure always flashed in her mind from time to time. Whenever she could get news about him, Terumi Mei couldn't help but throb in her heart. She thought she had let it go. All the things that happened in the past had become a thing of the past. She has her own responsibilities and missions. The love between a man and a woman is really not suitable for her. But the fact is, when she stood in front of Iki again, this young Jinchuriki, this girl, gradually, she has gained the ability to think. It's so magical. Precocious and early development. Which girl doesn't have spring feelings? Konoha. The treatment is actually very good. Just when Terumi Mei was daydreaming, Iki spoke again. What is this guy thinking about? We are all old acquaintances, so we have to be polite. As for intimidation, we have already done enough just now. As long as he transmits the coordinates with a shadow clone, the majestic Buddha in the Rain Country can be projected from a distance. Targeted attacks. Fighting in the ninja world, it has become boring now. Iki feels bored, and now he just wants to start the third Hokage meeting as soon as possible. Everyone discussed and decided not to fight in the future. So, Iki decided to be gentler with Meditarumi. If we can use our mouth to get a backdoor, we won't bully others so much. Konoha has relaxed its policy towards Jinchuriki, and now they are treated really well. Have you heard of Tsunagakure's one-tailed Jinchuriki? After coming to Konoha, he gained 8 pounds a day. Now his child is 3 years old. And Iwagakure's tail, that guy with a good name. I just came from him. He was very cooperative. In the end, he even knelt in front of me with tears of gratitude. Alas, I really don't know what kind of suffering he went through in Iwagakure. Iki boasted without changing his expression or heartbeat. He actually leaked a lot of information. For example, the one who attacked Iwagakure was really the root. For example, he had fought with Tail, and judging from the current situation, he definitely didn't suffer any loss. If Meditarumi could still keep calm, she would probably be able to analyze all this in an instant and make a decision. But now she can't keep calm anymore. Child. 3 years old? Question mark? Puff 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 puff. The little girl's face was flushed. She bit her lips lightly, and even her breathing became a little faster. But Yingshu didn't notice. He continued his advertisement. Of course, if you don't want to come, you can. Yingshu spread his hands and said seemingly nonchalantly, and at the same time, the chakra flames burned all over his body again. Battle mode. In 3 days, Konoha will hold the 3rd meeting of the cage. Please inform your cage to bring all the Jinchuriki to Konoha. Otherwise, I can only snatch people away. Warm reminder, if you can't find the book by searching the title, you can try searching the author. Maybe he just changed his name. Chapter 287, Changing Times. Everything went smoothly for Iki. Unlike what Kakashi had predicted, there was no bloody plot, and Meditarumi was not Iki's ideal target. Everything went smoothly for Obito and Kakashi as well. What they wanted was the root of if you don't talk properly, I'll call Iki. The two followed the old plan. Obito opened Susanoo. Kakashi summoned Iki's clone. Iki's clone fixed coordinates, and the Rain Country killer ended the negotiations. The Susanoo statue far away in the Rain Country finally only fired less than 10 hydrogen escape Rasengan. But Iki didn't withdraw either. If the Hokage talks could not end successfully, he would not withdraw. 3 days later, the Hokage talks were held as scheduled. The 3 cages of the 3 villages alliance, along with 7 Jinchuriki and a considerable number of Anbu troops, came to Konoha in a mighty force. The one who greeted them was no one else, not the Root Trio, not White Fang, and not the Sandame, and certainly not Tsuna. It was Rata. Yes, after dealing with the Kurigakure ninja troops, Iki still went to Tsunagakure. He explained to Rata the bright prospects of the cage talks, and his satisfaction with the current situation of Tsunagakure. Not to mention, after the lousy Rasa focused on mining, Tsunagakure really got better. It got rich. Although the villagers of Tsunagakure village don't wear gold and silver yet, every household has a well-off smile on their face. Tsunagakure is becoming well-off. Rasa's next plan is to build a few more gold mining bases. The location is in the Land of Rain. He found that there seems to be a lot of gold hidden underground in the Land of Rain, and asked Iki for his opinion. Iki agreed. But the premise is that it must be in the name of Ninja World Gold Mine. The Land of Rain will be the first demonstration ninja village in the ninja world in Iki's plan. So Rata cooperated very well, and came to Konoha as a treat. After all, one of the most important things in this cage meeting is about the distribution of the Land of Rain. Everyone, long time no see. Rasa had a polite smile on his face, working diligently on his new temporary job. Humph. He received a few cold snorts. The 3 cages did not take this Kazakage seriously, especially the Mizukage Yakura, whose Mist Shadow army almost crushed the Tsunagakure. Facts have proved that the decision made by the 3 Mirror Coalition 2 days ago was wrong. They determined that Konoha would not have the second god of the ninja world or the Shura of the ninja world. Or rather, they firmly believed that, even if such a person appeared again, with their strength and the recent development of the ninja world, they would no longer be afraid. But the fact is, Konoha did not have the second god of the ninja world or the Shura of the ninja world. But a guy who can beat this guy up appeared. Moreover, even if Iki only mastered would release and Manga Ki, with his strength, it is not something that the current ninja world can bear. Even the Jinchuriki are not good enough. The high-end combat power of each village is just so-so. Iki only fired a few hydrogen release Rasengan and the negotiation ended directly. This is a problem of level. Iki has entered the macro level and has gone a long way. Think about it. A ninja spends his whole life practicing the skills to kill the enemy. With superb disguise plus superb instant body, he can easily take the life of another ninja. His crazy elder killed crazily. Finally cut a bloody path in the ninja world. Such people are Hanzo, White Fang and the like. They are famous, but they can't contribute to the finale. Of course, being at the macro level, it's not that there is no chance to stand out. Practice physical skills hard to burn youth, open the 8 gates, and EK. Warm reminder, if you can't find the book title, you can try to search for the author, maybe just change the name. But the ending is like that. Anyway, Iki won't touch, right? The 3 villages' shadows entered Konoha. Led by Rasa, they came to the bottom of the Hokage building. Minato had been waiting for a long time, wearing a mask, but the golden crew cut was exposed, which was the same as not wearing it. Hokage-sama, we have been waiting for a long time. Please come in, Minato said in a gentle voice. The 3 cages walked forward with cold faces, but the followers behind them, including the Jinchuriki, were stopped. Sorry, only 4 cages can enter. The tone was no longer gentle, and the attitude became tough. Everyone from the 3 villages, including the cage, suddenly changed their faces. What do you mean? The Raikage, who had the most explosive temper, shouted. Whoosh 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 whoosh. As soon as the voice fell, a van of black-clothed masked ninjas appeared, with murderous auras on their faces, and 3 of them had short hair. The others were not the same. As soon as these 3 short hairs appeared, the atmosphere on the scene solidified instantly, as if a storm was coming. I heard that someone has an opinion. It was Obito who spoke, his nose was upturned, and he was arrogant by nature. You may have heard wrongly. Kakashi put his hands on his double swords. I heard that someone wants to fight. Iki stood beside him, not knowing how to start. These 2 have gone crazy for the past 2 days. He has used several sets of his clone scrolls alone. This shows that he has already implemented the tactic of you can't beat Iki to the end. He is really just hugging his thighs. Don't mess around. Iki pulled the 2 people back and took a step forward. His eyes swept over the 3 shadows. Iki is a man who wants peace. He will not be easily provoked. It is not easy for him to set up such a situation and let the shadows sit down and talk calmly. Allocate the tailed beasts, allocate the territory, help the poor, help, and move forward hand in hand. He will not do anything reckless. So, chakra, explode. You 3 get in here, right now, right now. No, I don't know what I will do. Yingshu's tone was very deep. His subtext, no, I will blow up your house in a minute, believe it or not. Peace can't come so easily, but he can't let him get away like this. The momentum suddenly cooled. The waves in Yingshu's eyes emerged, pupil power, chakra, blood. He used the breath of a high life level to suppress the 3 cages. The 3rd Raikage, the 3rd Suchikage, and the 4th Mizukage. The faces of the 3-1 village cages changed again and again. The Sandamei instinctively wanted to turn on the lightning release chakra mode. Yagura and Noki also entered the combat state, as if they were going to fight at any time. But they didn't. They held back. Cage level? But that's it. The 1 village cage should be admired by everyone, and have high blessings. But now, they are only worthy of the identity of villain supporting role, and, on the Hokage building, Atsuna watched everything happening below silently. The corners of her mouth curled slightly, and so did Kumi behind her. Her own power shocked the 3 village cages. The era of the ninja world is really going to change drastically. Warm reminder, this site uses cookie technology to save your reading history and bookshelf, so clearing browser cookie data, reinstalling the browser and other operations will make your reading progress disappear. It is recommended to occasionally take a screenshot and save the bookshelf to prevent losing the novel you are reading. Chapter 288 Will of Fire. Let's go, the 3 of you. In the end, it was Rasa who smoothed things over. The 3 cage snorted coldly, left the Jinchuriki and followers behind, and walked into the corner of the Hokage building where Minato was holding soy sauce. He silently looked at his disciple, and silently looked at the 3 cage. Minato sighed. It was at this position that the 3 little guys became ninjas, received protective gear, and took a group photo. That was the starting point of the 3 little ones, and the starting point of the 3 giant heads of the root today. Everything in the past was still vivid in his mind. On that day, Iki and Obito challenged the little Uchiha guy to a fight. As a result, he was sent to the hospital, and his hairstyle was changed to one that Kushina liked very much. He has kept this buzz cut for several years, and it is estimated that he will continue to keep it. That day, the 3 of them worked together and passed the Genin exam with a long-range hydrogen blast, becoming a ninja in Konoha. Then there was the Kumogakure ninja attack, and Obito opened his eyes. The Kirigakure spy attack, and then the Chunin exam. Once Meditarumi, now the Seven Tails Jinchuriki, was just a little girl at the time. The 3 of them overcame all the difficulties along the way, and ended the farce in the most unexpected way. After that, the journey of the 3 of them was a bit magical. During a B-rank mission, Obito opened his Sharingan. After returning from the Kirigakure battlefield, Iki also opened his Sharingan. The child's natural delicate chakra was unlocked, but the surprise was yet to come. Who would have thought that this child could be a combination of the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan? It was as if he had taken over the authority of that era, inheriting the power of the 2 predecessors, the god of ninja and the ninja world Shura. He almost single-handedly made the Tsunagakure surrender completely. And then he single-handedly made the 3-village coalition unable to resist. Even the ninja world Shura, who was resurrected from the Pure Land, and the Lord Lengjin, who went astray, but mastered the power, were not his opponents. The ninja world is about to change. But even so, when Minato looked at the figures of these 3 children, he still felt as if he was in another world, as if time had just returned when the 3 had just graduated. It was not Minato's fault. After all, he had fought for so long, and he really had not taught the 3 children anything. 4-Kage walked into the Hokage building. The next round of the 5-Kage talks was about to begin. After 3 days of internal meetings, Konoha had already determined the content of this meeting. Iki's proposal was also unanimously agreed. Konoha must take back all the 4-tailed beasts and all the Jinchuriki. Of course, this is only the first step. Today, Konoha is the only dominant power, and even more powerful than the first generation. Tsuna has learned from her mistakes, and can no longer follow the old path of the first generation. Peace must be in her own hands. Iki proposed a plan, Eye of the Moon, also known as Limited Moon Reading. The inspiration is said to come from Uchiha Madara, but Iki didn't say the details. Of course, even if you want to ask Madara, you can't get the answer. Iki's philosophy is, ninja is a fighting profession. You have to practice hard to kill the enemy. You can't just stay at home all day. You still have to fight. But there will be casualties in fighting, and this will only pass on hatred. What he wanted to achieve was that the ninjas would appreciate each other, and that they would not know each other without fighting, so as to awaken the truth, kindness, and beauty of human nature, and abandon the greed, anger and ignorance of human nature. Limited monthly reading is just a thing. Anyway, no one can die in the illusion, so the hatred will not continue. But as long as there are enough prizes, the ninjas will fight hard for it, and will not be fooled. Although this idea once again received the disdain of Uchiha Madara. But this is indeed the best way that Yingshu can think of. As for the future, before Yingshu traveled through time, he was only in his 20s. Now, he can be over 30, and with the blessing of the 6th brother, he can exceed 60. Warm reminder, this site uses cookie technology to save your reading history and bookshelf, so clearing browser cookie data, reinstalling the browser and other operations will make your reading progress disappear. It is recommended to occasionally take a screenshot and save the bookshelf in case you can't find the novel you are reading. For a person, it is difficult for him to think about what will happen 100 years later. Yingshu is not without a sense of crisis, but he doesn't want to be trapped. After all, he is almost getting the highest power that this world can achieve. Continuing to ask for it can only lead to tragedy. He is now equivalent to ruling the ninja world, and he has already got enough. What will happen in the future? It doesn't matter. The enemies that Naruto and Boruto can deal with, can they still be dealt with by him? The descendants of Kakashi and Obito are estimated to be able to deal with them. Konoha time, 4:15 PM on the 19th. After several rounds of intense negotiations, the third 5-Kage conference ended successfully. This meeting clarified the issues of tailed beasts and human rights of Jinchuriki. It was determined that from the one tail to the nine tail, Konoha must control them. The original Jinchuriki can only stay in Konoha and wait for the opportunity to leave the tailed beast and then seal it. The three Kage expressed serious protest to this. The view that the tailed beast belongs to everyone and the Jinchuriki has human rights was put forward. The three Kages think they can surrender to Konoha, they can pay compensation and even cede land, but they must not hand over the Jinchuriki, especially Kumogakure and Kirigakure. Their attitudes are very strong. The 8 tails Jinchuriki of Kumogakure is the adopted son of the current Sandaime Raikage. The 7 tails Jinchuriki of Kirigakure is the current captain of the Kumogakure Jonin squad. What if they hand all of them over to you, Konoha? Tsunato just smiled slightly. From the looks of you all, does that mean there is no room for negotiation? I'm tired. Iki, you take over for me. Tsunato stopped talking, and Iki came out. The attitudes of the three Kages suddenly changed too. It's not impossible to negotiate. Iki's nuclear peaceism must be praised here. Iwagakure, he's done. The power of the explosion was not controlled well, and the power of the air blast was maximized. If Inoki and Laozi had not acted in time, Iwagakure's troops would be left with only 1 in 10. Even so, the number of Iwagakure ninjas killed or injured was in the thousands. So Inoki was honest. Even though the 5 tails Jinchuriki was his most capable assistant and the hero of Iwagakure, he had no choice. But Kumogakure and Kirigakure were different. Kumogakure suffered a slightly smaller amount of damage. After all, the distance was too far, and Iki also showed mercy. So Kumogakure just felt that they could not win and agreed to surrender, but they still have rebellious bones. Let alone Kirigakure. Iki personally took action and did not use nuclear means. That's why they surrendered, although it was also because they felt they couldn't win. They hadn't reached the point of despair. But after coming to Konoha, the attitudes of Kumogakure and Kirigakure changed. For some people, you won't know how insignificant you are unless you see the real mountain with your own eyes. Iki is such a mountain pressing down on the top of the ninja world. Konoha time, on the 19th, 4:20 p.m. The 5 Kage talks were declared over, and the first bill signed by the 5 Kage was born. The tailed beasts are free. The Jinchuriki have human rights. These things belong to Konoha. The name of this set of bills is the Will of Fire Act. Warm reminder, if you can't find the book by searching the title, you can try searching the author. Maybe the name has just changed. Chapter 289, The Past. Ah, my head. Yingshu stood up in a daze, feeling like his head was going to explode. The surroundings were full of golden light, the wind blew the wheat waves, the scenery was nice, and the air was quite fresh. Yingshu slowed down and felt much better. So now, where are we? Yingshu stood up and looked around, but he couldn't remember where he was. A cloud-piercing arrow came at him. Huh. Yingshu was confused and instinctively raised his 2 fingers and then put them down. It was just such a small thing, and it was an insult to him to ask him to mobilize even half of Kakishi's chakra. What the hell? He curled his lips, and it was true that the arrow was quite accurate. Iki caught it with his bare hands, broke it on the spot, and looked into the distance. He saw the murderer. It was a guy dressed in a very strange way, a bit like a soldier from an ancient island country. Iki's expression became more and more sluggish. He thought he seemed to know where he was. It was a day ago. After the Firewall Act was finalized, the only threat in front of Iki was Orochimaru. Well, there was also Shizu. Shizu had been missing for a long time. Under the leadership of Kakashi, Iki went straight to the Ryochi cave, one to find Orochimaru and the other to find Shizu. He did find Orochimaru above the Ryochi cave. This scientist finally turned into the person in Iki's memory. He was struggling against an indescribable mass. Orochimaru casually put aside the eyes of Nagashimaru. Iki maintained basic vigilance, sealed Orochimaru with a barrier, and aimed the Susanoo Buddha at the Ryochi cave. He wanted to know the truth. What happened in the future, and what Orochimaru knew. Of course, the most important thing was where Shizu went. Orochimaru was very calm about this. He gave Iki a coordinate and a meaningful smile, and then he continued his research. That coordinate was the dragon vein. According to Orochimaru, Shisu did not disappear, but returned to the past. The reason is, he wanted to go back to the time when the Shodaime was still alive, because the ninja world was peaceful at that time, and he wanted to know the reason. A very naive idea, very Shisu's idea. Iki finally changed the opportunity for Shisu to open his eyes, but he failed to change Shisu's hairstyle, thinking. Iki sighed. Genius and fool are often only a fine line apart. Just like Shisu, just like Obito in front of him. In short, there are thieves for 1,000 days, but there is no thief deafened for 1,000 days. Iki concluded that Shisu was probably deceived in the past, so he became bad. That's why the little note appeared. Following the principle that unity is strength square root 3 set out again, heading straight for the dragon vein. No matter how powerful you are, can you brainwash all 3 of them in an instant? Before setting out, Orochimaru explained to them the rules of time travel. He also gave Kakashi a gift. Kakashi didn't dare to take it and politely refused, but Yingshu still let Kakashi accept it. The 3 of them set out in a mighty manner. Yingshu decided that after this job was done, he could plan to let little Yingshu go to the battlefield. This spear has been kept for so many years, and it's time to see blood. Then an accident happened. The 3 of them shouted slogans on the dragon vein. 1 and 3 set out, 3 and 1 family. The next second. Warm reminder, there are functions such as switch between simplified and traditional Chinese, adjust font size, and reading background color in the upper right corner of the page. Yingshu suddenly felt something appear on his neck. After activating the dragon vein, the rich chakra instantly pulled him away. Obito and Kakashi couldn't catch up. After that, Yingshu appeared here. It took a very long time to travel through the time tunnel. Time is something that cannot be materialized, but Yingshu experienced it in reality. Along the way, he saw a lot. He saw Naruto go out, saw Itachi jump off a cliff, saw the second pillar pursue Naruto's sister, and was chased by Naruto with a kunai for 8 blocks. Oh, by the way, the girl's name is Haruko. Namake Haruko. Naruto is still Uzumaki Naruto, and the 2 siblings have golden hair. Iki also saw the past. He saw Madara and the first pillar compete to see who can be father, and saw the 2 of them collide with the powerful Ninetales and the 1,000-armed Buddha. Yes, it was almost there. Iki also saw the future. It was only a momentary picture, so he saw Shisu staring at his god, who was covered in wounds, and staring at him. This really pissed off Iki. Little friend, have you learned bad things? After that, Iki felt like someone hit him on the head, and when he woke up again, he was shot. If he guessed correctly, this place is probably the Warring States period. Kaguya probably hasn't come yet, and chakra is not yet popular. It's over. Iki suddenly felt something was wrong. Chakra is not yet popular, and hasn't even appeared yet. Doesn't this mean that the dragon veins can't be formed? Then how can we survive? Question mark? The little turtle also needs chakra to be activated. This isn't easy. Although Iki has seen the future, he can indeed survive, and he has to fight Shisu for 300 rounds. Who can tell the time for sure? God knows what will happen if we change it randomly. At this moment, Iki saw something in the sky. It looked like a shooting star. No, 2 shooting stars fell. Iki's expression suddenly became strange. Could this be the time when Kaguya and Ishiki landed? Iki remembered the abnormality on his neck when he traveled through time. This must be Orochimaru's doing. Oh my god, what kind of trick did this guy have? When a person knows the future, he is equivalent to having a trick. When a person knows what the future holds, he also gains power and the ability to travel through time. This person is a happy man. Yingshu didn't know what Orochimaru had become, that he couldn't even give him a time and space coordinate. But he knew that if he wanted to find Orochimaru and beat him so hard that even his mother wouldn't recognize him, he had to find these 2 shooting stars. So he stood up, he ran, he became a boy chasing light. But Yingshu hadn't run 2 steps when he discovered something else. These 2 shooting stars seemed to be hitting him here. Damn. Yingshu's heartbeat accelerated. That's Ishiki plus Kaguya. Their real strength is unknown, so he is the man who made the ninja world nuclear pacify. How could he be afraid of this thing? He is not afraid. How can he, a half-baked Otsutsuki, be a match for the two founders of the ninja world? The key is that his number 1 and number 2 Iki are not here. So Iki made a prompt decision. If he fights, he probably can't win. If he runs away, he can still do it, and he can do it well. This is his specialty. Warm reminder, if you think this book is good, please remember to add it to your bookshelf to avoid not finding it next time. Chapter 290, Something Big Happened. Yingshu hid underground. The hand that cut off the head in his heart had already burned pure blue. Of course, Yingshu was not scared. Although he would not admit that he was scared, even if he was scared, but this time he was really not that scared. He was actually a little excited. Kaguya, one move. At the beginning, Kaguya backstabbed him, and then Kaguya himself was very weak. What does this mean? This means that two damn cute divine trees are waiting for him. At this moment, Yingshu was hiding underground, feeling the vibration above, with a sneer on his lips. He was still worried about how to get the power of the 6 paths before. He was still worried about how to face the enemies coming from outside. Now, everything is ready. Aishiki is about to parasitize Jijin, and he only needs to burn that poor guy, who is about to be completely controlled, into charcoal. The game is half over. Iki is now thinking about how to bully Kaguya. How about just eating the chakra fruit himself? Change Ninja World Den to Iki Den? It's exciting just thinking about it. But then again, victory is at hand, and he is about to make an artificial ending. But Iki feels a little empty in his heart. It has been a long time since I traveled through time. I miss home. Not the home in Konoha, but the home on Earth. Although there is no one at home, it is just a rental house with 1 bedroom, 1 living room and 1 bathroom. He is just an ordinary undergraduate student, and he hasn't found a job yet. Staying in this world is not comfortable at all. He can beat up anyone he doesn't like, and do that to any girl he likes. But at this moment, this feeling of doing whatever he wants, makes him feel a little empty. It's not realistic. After dealing with Kaguya and Aishiki, well, home is still good. I can play and tame. Yingshu thought to himself, while pricked up his ears, to listen to the movements above. The energy on this planet is abundant and suitable for the growth of the sacred tree. Kaguya, release your sacred tree seeds. Your journey is over. You don't want your family to be destroyed because of you, do you? It was a deep voice. Yingshu could imagine the current face of this person. Hypocritical, greedy, fearless, and a little elegant. A standard villain. I know. A cold voice sounded. It was Kaguya. Her voice was cold, but Yingshu did not hear the word despair. On the contrary, Yingshu, who had a god's perspective, was a little excited at this moment. Kaguya might take action. Yingshu began to prepare. Both the Yin Seal and the Immortal Seal were ready, and he was also checking his body's condition. It would be a shame if he was forcibly banned for traveling through time. Fortunately, he was in good condition, and even a little excited, because of the adrenaline. His attention was focused as never before. Very fast. I don't know what happened up there. Yingshu heard a rustling sound. Then, roots spread from above to Yingshu. The speed was very slow, but Yingshu felt threatened. The sacred tree began to take root. Then the next step should be sacrifice, right? Iki was thinking about it, but at this moment, he suddenly heard an angry voice from above. What are you doing? It was not Aishiki, but Kaguya. It's a pity to become a sacrifice like this. Why not? Iki filled his mind with many things at this moment. It's a bit inappropriate for children, but he did think of a question. The setting book said that Kaguya is an ascetic, and Hagoromo and Hamura appeared because people prayed for the goddess of the rabbit. Now it seems that it's not the case. What should I do? Should I do something brave? Is there any hope if I fight? Or should I just wait? Wait for Kaguya to make a move. But if we continue like this, wouldn't I have learned the 9-horned duty for nothing? Making a move feels a bit stupid. Warm reminder, if you think this book is good, please remember to add it to your bookshelf to avoid being unable to find it next time. Although he will not beat Aishiki in the future, Aishiki is very powerful. Naruto and Sasuke are not his opponents, and the super gravity mode can only suppress him. But if he doesn't make a move, Iki is struggling with his conscience. This directly led to a momentary leakage of his aura. The powerful chakra fluctuation was instantly captured by Ishiki. Ikki's current chakra volume is also at least 2-tailed beasts. Come out. I'm not afraid of you. Yingshu was too lazy to hide, and without saying a word, he crawled out from the ground, locked Ishiki and Kaguya in an instant, and used a set of mini Susanoo to directly defeat Oolong. He has superb physical skills. Or rather, his shadow clone has superb physical skills. The one who came out to fight at this moment was not Yingshu's shadow clone, but his real body was underground, looking for water veins. The land here is fertile, and the underground river must be rich. It is not a problem to mobilize and suppress it. Yingshu is very clear about Ishiki's ability to grow and shrink, an ability that men dream of, but Yingshu is not afraid. The more compressed the hydrogen escapes, the stronger it is. The shadow clone and Ishiki began to fight. You know what? Although the shadow clone is not a shadow clone, it can beat Ishiki back with a set of punches. Ishiki's condition is a little wrong. It's like he took drugs, and his face is a little red. There are generally two kinds of drugs that can make a male blush. One can make people stronger, and the other can make people confused. Yingshu's shadow clone took the time to glance at Kaguya. He roughly knew what Kaguya's plan was. What a vicious woman. Yingshu said in his heart, and then he was knocked out of the smoke by Ishiki's powerful and heavy fist. Dissipated. No. Ishiki had no concept of shadow clones, but he could see the flow of chakra. The shadow clone dissipated, and the chakra returned to the original body. He could see it clearly. Is there another one underground? Come out. Ugh. Ishiki was about to show his power, but the sharp blade on his chest told him, come out. It's you who should be sacrificed. Kaguya's breathing was a little heavy, but her voice was still cold. She suddenly pushed the seriously injured Ishiki away from the sacred tree. The sacred tree stretched out vines, but it was more like a bloody mouth. It was going to swallow him. At the critical moment, Ishiki still used the little known Baguna and escaped forcibly after most of his body was swallowed. But at this time, a certain Laoliu appeared. Let go of that girl. Sign. Ikki used his true hydrogen release Rasengan to smash Ishiki, and he himself knocked down Kaguya, and at the same time would release plus Susanoo Rose. Defense mode. Bomb. To be honest, the power is just average, at least Ikki thinks so. After all, the time is a bit tight. But to deal with a bloody Ishiki, it is more than enough. Ikki felt a vibration from the outside world, and his heart was a little excited. This excitement turned into restlessness after a small hand was placed on his face. Ikki looked at Kaguya below, and at this moment Kaguya was a little strange. It was a bit like reading a book. Ikki, what do you want to do? Kaguya, give it to me. I don't know how much time has passed. Ikki woke up. He saw the lights, he saw the ceiling, and he heard the sound of the alarm. Morning time. 7.30. Today's weather, sunny to cloudy. Here's the current news for you. Tokyo City, Sakura Province, will usher in a rare typhoon that only happens once in 10,000 years. Please be prepared. Ikki let out a long breath. This dream was so real. He dreamed that he went to the ninja world, and he dreamed that he was invincible. In the end, he even dreamed that he and the ancestor of chakra had he. Ikki smiled shyly and shook his head. But this shake is not simple. He couldn't feel his arm. It was too numb. Yingshu turned his head and saw a girl with long white hair, who wasn't she Kaguya? Question mark? Yingshu was confused. At the same time, he felt an itch on his neck. Yingshu felt a tingling sensation all over his body and found that it was a little white snake. The little white snake spoke in human language. This is Shisui's power. It's hard to explain, but with your soul and your strength, I did it in the end, my Yingshu. The world is very prosperous. I want to see it. Don't worry. The end of the book. Warm reminder, there are functions such as switch between simplified and traditional Chinese, adjust font size, and reading background color in the upper right corner of the page. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.